from and what you've been up to work-wise
from
church.
So I have a Master of Divinity from Fuller Seminary. I was a full-time pastor, and I did ministry for probably close to 10 years, 9 or 10 years. And my previous church I was at for about 5 years before moving on. And it was kind of when I left that position, I was pretty burnt out and a little disillusioned and about whether that was something that I really wanted to be doing. And I was pretty burnt out. So I don't know how, but I mean, through a mutual friend, I ended up at Sherwin-Williams, which is a paint company, and entered in as a management trainee, which is like round up. It's typically for college grads, and ended up entering into that because they paid something for a person that has literally maybe painted 2 walls in his whole life. And so I decided to give that a go. It was a retail position, and ended into the retail work grind. So I was doing 48-hour weeks, and by the time I was able to get I did that for about 9 months before they gave me a store to manage, a store. And at that point, I was, waking up at 5 in the morning and coming back at, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. sometimes, just doing whatever I had to get done to run the store. So that was probably, that was up until maybe a month ago.
Okay. His hours were terrible, guys, because these are retail hours, right? So it's early morning to meet the painters at the paint shop, and then coming home really late. And it was like 2.5 years of like both of us being in the grind, like me doing all the kid stuff, Benji just having his head in his work at the store, and neither of us being really active parents or really present at home. So we really felt like we were stuck on that hamster wheel of everyone just working so hard, and our family kind of being second fiddle. So I'm just, going back a little bit more to when I started the business. I enrolled under Carly. You guys all know Carly. And it was only a month later where I was like, oh my gosh, I really like these oils so much. And I really don't want Benji to give me any crap about the LRP, right? Because all of us are like, oh, that's like $125. So I thought, oh, I'm just going to do like a tiny bit of the business just so I can earn $125 a month, just so I don't have to hear anything, right? So that's how I started my business. And from the start, Benji was really supportive, but and he was supportive like in terms of watching the kids, making sure someone was home when I was out teaching classes or doing one-on-ones. But we really did have a lot of fights, to be honest, especially in the beginning, because as a lot of you guys know, when you're first starting out, you're just on fire, right? I have to share this with everyone I know. I have so many girlfriends I want to tell. I want to get to like elite so bad. And so I remember feeling that way and just booking a lot of classes, a lot of one-on-ones without regard to how he would feel or what the family was up to or how much he was sacrificing for allowing me to be out so much. And so we had a lot of fights during that point. And I remember Benji would always be like, you understand that, what is the word? Sacrifice, something about sacrifice. You were like, there is a cost to this. That's what he would say. He's like, don't think that there isn't a cost to this. But in my heart, I always knew that it would be worth it because I had a why for why I was doing this. And so my why has always been to retire myself and to retire Benji and for us to be home and to be really active parents and for us to have choices in terms of our time freedom and our financial freedom. And so I don't want to go off on like any more tangents of how I grew up and everything, but my childhood had a lot to do with my drive for doing this, as well as my family.
Yeah, Benji, could you, and you guys can hop in and just ask questions anytime, but I'd love to just hear from you from the husband's perspective, from the male perspective. We've got one representative, Pete, I think is on, but we've got more. He's bringing people on board. Pete has enrolled like tons and tons of people the last couple months, and we have one, another guy now coming to convention, and so I see that really, and then really growing, but then also like every woman here is like, well, the majority represent being a wife and having a husband, and just they're not, obviously doing the business with them at this point, but just share with us a little bit of your journey, and then we'll talk more about the present.
Yeah, so just like my journey, like through the past 3 years,
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Rebecca, I don't know the exact timeline, but she got into doTERRA right around the time, actually before I started working at Sherwin, when I was still in ministry. But that's when she started dabbling in it, and I was like, multi-level marketing, like, but one thing I could tell was that she did really like it. It was something that she was really interested in, and something she really wanted to do. And that was evident. So, who would stand in the way of that, So while I didn't really care for, hey, Gavin, can you yeah. So yeah, she just kind of did her thing. And by the time I got to Sherwin-Williams, that's when my work hours had increased, exponentially. And she was working full time. I was working full time, and she was doing it on the spare time. And by the time I got home, she was either gone or leaving. And so it was difficult. And so while I wanted to continue to support her with it, and while I did continue to support her with it, as Rebecca mentioned, we did have some pretty epic moments. And, I would put some flavorful language to it, but out of just trying to be professional, I won't. There were many moments where, I would use that word cost because, and a lot of times that was me directing it at her, but when in reality, it was just our situation and our life. And especially in the beginning stages when she's building, as more of a practical person, I don't see necessarily the financial, it doesn't seem financially worth it, the amount of time she's putting into it. It's just thinking in hours and hours of it, and you don't see it. And of course, it's always like, just wait. And I'm like, when? And I think the months that were most difficult were the months that she was most successful. So she had some pretty impressive months. She won consecutive incentive trips. She earned consecutive incentives. So she had I think like a 27 enrollment month, where it was just nuts. And then you see the check, and I'm like, dude, like, that's it? Like, what the heck? It doesn't seem worth it. And so those are the most challenging times for me. I have to say, while I did have some very upfront some skepticism, especially in the first year and a half, maybe even, for about a year and a half, all the while, like, I'm working my buns off, and I was very fortunate and grateful to have had success while I was working, but there was a cost to that too. It took everything out of me, and so when I come home, I was just mentally and physically just absolutely exhausted. The cost was the kids, and when we weren't fighting, we'd have nights where we were looking at each other right before we're about to fall asleep, and there were probably at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 moments where there'd be tears in one of our eyes, and we'd be saying, like, this is not sustainable. Like, we can't do this, and the money was great. Financially, we weren't struggling, like, probably for the first time in our lives. We were both making decent money, but it just, like, it wasn't worth it, like, it just wasn't worth it. At what cost? And so I'd say, as I'm observing, and this is more in hindsight now, every month I'm looking at her numbers, and I'm giving her a hard time about her expenses and, how much she's investing back into the business, and saying, like, do you really need to be investing more than you earned, this particular month? and these kind of conversations. But all the while, if I look at her 3-year trajectory, she's just grinded away and pounded away and just kept at it, just kept having classes and kept reaching out to people and going out to meet people, doing Zooms. If I look at the 3 years that she's been doing this, she's been tabulating month by month. Her OV, overall volume's just been going like nothing crazy, just steady upwards. Just constantly. And yeah, there's a couple swing months with the promos and November and things like that. But overall, if you look at it, if you look at it as an XY graph, it's just a steady incline of progress. And so it was probably middle of last year when I'm like, hey, this is kind of legitimate, like there's stuff happening, and the money still wasn't like what I want it to be, we all want things right away, but you can see it, and I'm like, oh man, like there's something here. And so at that point, I think I probably started quieting down a little more, in terms of like, because I can see what she's doing, and you can see the organization underneath her, Susie and her team. It's like, wow, like where would we be, where would we be without that work? And so Susie, I don't proud of you, number one, and just thank you for all the hard work. And it just shows you and that just happens as each of you start building. You have people under you that are doing that for you, as much as someone else did that for you, And so, around January hit, my goal when I became a store manager was to hit President's Club for Sherwin-Williams. And so, I worked my butt off and I hit it, but it left me I had nothing. Like I hit the President's Club, we went to Cabo, we got the, nice bonus and all that stuff. And I just wanted to achieve that for myself, being in the company. And January hit, December 31st, it was official. And I was just so exhausted. So I think, when did we go to Cabo?
April?
Yeah, we went to, so in April, my Cabo trip came. And at that point, I was up for promotion. So the company offered me a promotion to be sales rep. And that's what as long as I was at the company, I'm not a spring chicken, like I said, all my coworkers running in their mid-20s, and I'm 40. And so I need to keep moving, and I want to keep growing in that company if I was going to stay. And so, parlayed success into a promotion opportunity. And I thought it was a no-brainer. They basically created a position for me. And so I thought I was like, yeah, let's go. And then they paused on it for about 6 weeks. And during that 6-week period, in the background, Rebecca's business is actually growing to a point where I looked at the numbers one night and I'm like, wait a second, this is making what I'm making right now. and wow. And in one hand, I'm like, man, maybe I should keep working and triple income. What cost? So we went to Cabo, and right when I went to Cabo, they offered me the job, and they wanted an immediate yes. And so the hiring manager was texting me at the airport, and by the time I got to Cabo, and by that time I was thinking maybe I should quit. So during that 5 days at Cabo, Rebecca and I sat down, we crunched numbers, we prayed, and it was a risk. And by the end of the 4 days, by the 5th day, I was like, dude, I think it was weird. I'm at a company awards thing, and that was when I made the decision to step down. And so I was like, I think this is something we need to do. My hiring manager texts me on Monday morning with my suitcases in my hotel room. She says, do you have an answer for me? And I was like, dang it. So I called her on the spot and I said, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. The promotion opportunity, and I'm going to be putting in my 2 weeks. And then called my boss and said the exact same thing. Stayed with my company for 3 weeks and just made the decision to stop. So financially at this point, how Rebecca's doing in her business, in our business, it's more or less equaling. net, and I'm speaking net. Net wise, it's roughly equaling my net salary, and so that's kind of where we're at, and trying to push on towards to continue to make that sustainable and then some.
All right.
I don't know if there's anything else that you want me to share, but yeah.
No, that's great. And I think the reason I wanted you to come share is because, in the beginning, like I'd hear all these people say part of their why is that they want to retire their husband. And, but and I know Missy retired Andy, but I didn't really know them as they were growing the business. So to see like someone, that I started with in the beginning to actually get to that point, I thought, oh my gosh, this is like reality. People need to see that this is a real thing. And I just wanted to really hear from you and, see that you're real people and that this kind of thing really happens. So, Rebecca, do you want to share anything about just kind of how you got to that point where you guys decided, yeah, this makes sense, we're going to do this?
I just wanted to share three more things that we fought a lot about and how we kind of resolved them. So the first year, Benji was really bothered by the fact that I was spending so much of the money that I was making. So even though I wasn't making like buckets of, like, why do you need so many rollers and the t-shirt? And every time you go to convention, you come home with all this swag. And he wanted me to stop treating it like a hobby and treat it like a business. So he wanted me to like track numbers and how much was like net and gross and how much I was really making, because what you're making and then what you're spending equals like what you're really making, right? And so it like annoyed him so much that I wasn't tracking that. And anytime I'd be like, babe, I got you a new ring. He'd be like, how much did you make? And I would just tell him like the whole amount that I made, but then he'd be like, but how much did you spend? Which hurt my feelings. So I was like, what the heck? Can you just celebrate? Can you just celebrate this and not you be like, well, how much did you really make? So if you have a spouse who's like that, who really wants to see how much you're really making, what I started doing was I started kind of pulling back on things that were not like necessities to the business and just focusing on showing him that I am really legit making money. Like, look, because I think for a lot of guys or people who are more math oriented, which is not me, right? I'm just like into celebrating and like achieving. For someone like Benji, he needs to see the real numbers. And so like he shared, like he would look in our account and see it growing. And when it got to a certain point, he was like, that looks legit, and I think I can retire. So it took a long time to get there, and it took a lot for me to like pull back a little bit on my own personal spending with my doTERRA money to show him that this little mountain was growing. The second thing was I have always identified that Benji has a lot of skills that I don't have. So I think I'm good at teaching. I think I'm good at enrolling. But I think my little weak spot is like, I'm not great at developing leaders. Like your leader here, Susie, is like so good at that. I'm not really good at like helping people come to those visualizations. And I think he has a really pastorally heart. That's where he comes from. And so I've always really wanted him to join me in my business. Like from day 2, I was like, oh, I would love it if he would just join me. And what really turned off from joining the longest time was basically when I was acting like I was a chicken with my head cut off. So when I was like going from place to place, when I was like stressed and complaining and how come I'm not this and how come I'm not that, like that wasn't really attractive for him to want to join any of that. I think it was when I chilled out a little bit and kind of found a sweet spot between working hard and also being a mom and being a wife and being as present as possible when he was a little bit more attracted to even thinking about like, maybe I can do that with her. So for like the first 3 years, he was like, oh, heck no, I'm not joining that crazy thing. Right? And it took a long time for us to kind of be at that place where not only was the timing right, but we were both in that place where we couldn't continue that unsustainable lifestyle of working 3 full-time jobs.
Hmm.
Am I on the right track?
Sure.
Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, I think, and also just to confirm what Susie was saying was, yeah, like this is a real situation, and yeah, I think for sure, like what she's done with her business has absolutely allowed me to quit my job, like, and has absolutely allowed that to happen, and so that's completely true, and it is possible because I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
It is. So.
Yeah, thanks so much. Do you guys have any questions for them? I have a couple more, but I want you to chime in on anything that you've heard so far, anything that you're wondering. I think you're all muted, so you have to unmute yourself if you want to speak.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys. My name is Nikki. It's nice to meet you. Rebecca, I think I met you at Susie's house during the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Christmas party.
How are you? Thank you so much for being here. I have 2 questions. The first one is, are you still working for the school district full-time? And the second one, it's kind of, I don't know, because I'm a newbie at this. I've been doing the baking for a few months, like for real, like a few months. And it's so interesting because when I hear your husband speak, it's like, well, how much did you make? That's like my husband. I think men are far more looking towards a result, like, and he's self-employed too. And he's in sales and he's an insurance broker. But when he, when a customer joins him, he makes like 500% more than what I make when when you enroll somebody with a kid. So he's from that place. And he's very supportive in the sense that he leaves me alone to do it. And I think that's a plus for me right now. And, he's good in that. So I guess it's hard to phrase the question. I think for a spouse, again, and I guess the question is for you, Mr. Kim, don't know your name, I'm sorry.
Benji.
What would you, in hindsight, when you guys were starting off, what would you have liked, or what do you think would have helped you better understand the long-term commitment that Rebecca was making to actually see like growth? Like, what would you have wanted to hear? I don't know. It's just, it's a hard thing to get across, I think.
Yeah.
I almost want to give my husband like this. Yeah, okay, this is what I'm going to tell you, so you believe me, this is for real.
Right. Yeah, I think I'll do my best to answer as best I can. I think when I look at the beginning, absolutely the year to 2 years is absolute investment. And I think what got us through is her belief. And I think that's with anything in life, is the belief and the vision. That's her vision, right? Her vision is that today I might be here, but tomorrow I'm going to be here. And that vision is what drove her from A to B. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so those years, I think there's got to be the belief and the commitment. And not only the belief, but there's got to be the practical application of that belief on a daily basis of actually just grinding it out. Sales it's kind of funny because I was in religious, I was a pastor for all my life, and then I ended up being in a retail position where my worth is measured by my numbers.
Right.
And it was not outside sales. People came to me more or less, but we also had to pick up the phone too. That's how we grew our store. I'm learning sales while she's doing sales. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. I think you mentioned your husband. I think in any kind of sale, the commission is going to be different, and to be able to get that sale in maybe that situation, it might be harder to get that one, but when you get that one, it's big. But there's also, plenty of situations like this. What makes this business a little bit different is the rule, right? It's you're not going to buy insurance 100 times. You know, you do it once. The hope is that as you enroll people to buy the oils, they keep buying them. And when you build an organization large enough, is it okay if I mention this as your organization? I mean, she has 2,600 people in her organization.
Wow.
So when you have 2,600 people under you, yeah, is every person doing LRP every month? No, but it's a large enough organization, it's a big enough tree where a percentage of people are absolutely devoted to the product, and you're getting that residual on a monthly basis. And are you always working? Like, you should be always working, but in a sense, you're not doing anything at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like those people are already buying. So at that point, you're just a sales rep following up on your customers. You know?
So at the beginning, would you say that, because Susie always tells the people in her team, you know, you can borrow my belief, you know, is that kind of like what you did with Rebecca? Like, would you?
It was, I would love to take credit for being an amazing husband like that, but not necessarily. I think, and she, you know, she can correct me if I'm wrong. More than anything, I gave her the freedom to do it. I gave her some grief at certain points, you know, but I saw her belief and I let her run with it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and I think there were moments where I was like, yo, this is too hard, like straight up, like I can't, I'm getting very close to saying I can't do this anymore. There were those conversations, but I never at one point did I say, this has to stop. You know, I don't believe I ever said that. And what kept me from saying that was like, this is the first time in my life that I've seen her believe in something the way she has. I've never seen her believe in something and be so devoted. I've never. So it was like, I think one aspect of good leadership is you just get out of the way and you let people be who they're going to be, and you let them do what they're going to do. And,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think the thing that kind of just like really caught my attention, what you're sharing, is just that idea of residual income, because we talk about that all the time, right? Like, you make money with it when you're not working, and our fast starts are still hauling buckets. We make the sale, we get the commission, but it's the residual income that we're really building, right? And so I know there's a period of time, Rebecca, when, you know, you had some personal challenges and you didn't really work for 2 months, right? But you still got a check, and maybe it even grew during that time, right? Can you share a little bit about that? I mean, as much detail as you want.
Yeah. So last year, I had all these weird health symptoms. I was for 2 months. Anytime I didn't have to go to work or do something essential, I was breaking out in all these hives, just odd things. Like, I was in a lot of pain, and it was to the point where I would try every oil and none of this would work. And so I went to a naturopath and I got diagnosed with a thyroid issue called Hashimoto's. And for 2 months straight, I did not do any doTERRA that wasn't totally essential. So I still met with my team for a Zoom. I may have, you know, maybe enrolled 1 or 2 people, but other than that, I did nothing. And during those months, my paycheck was actually the same, if not a tiny bit better. Okay, so those 2 months grew a lot of belief in me, in our compensation plan. In the beginning, you're making like $100 a month. You're like, okay, seriously, am I going to get to Diamond? Am I going to really see this money that's on this chart? It seems out of reach or crazy. But those are the months where I thought, I understand this residual income thing because it just happened to me. So when Susie and I get to presidential and we each have 6 platinums underneath us, she and I are going to be laying out on a beach, you guys, because when you have 6 platinums, those are people that are taking ownership over their organizations. They don't need you to hold their hand anymore. We are going to be on the beach with a drink, okay? And
I don't like the beach.
That's true. I really like it that much. Maybe on a deck, next to the beach. So like at every rank advancement, every step ahead, I'm able to see with more clarity what this residual income business is about, and it's becoming more and more true and real in my life. But it was hard to see in the beginning when you're just making $100 or $200.
Yeah. Okay, any others? Let's just take a couple more. Does anyone else
So
have?
I'm just wondering, hi Rebecca, I'm wondering if you could answer the question about your other job.
Yes. Okay. So I'm still working my same full-time job for a couple different reasons. The first is I get paid. I think I get overpaid for what I do. So it's a really good job and has really good benefits. So I'm going to stick with it for a little while. The second reason, though, the main reason is that that's how I meet people. So in my job, I'm not a classroom teacher where I'm like in one class. I'm actually responsible for 12 schools. And so I'm driving from school to school and I'm meeting teachers and aides and the lady up at the front office. And I have been able to meet a lot of people, which translates to a lot of appointments, which translates to a lot of enrollments. And so I'm not ready to step back from that. I am kind of a homebody and I'm generally introverted. So I know that if I were to retire at this point and Benji would go back to work, I would have to like really intentionally come out of my shell and meet people. And I don't really trust myself to do that quite yet. And so for me to work right now just makes sense for that reason, because that allows me to meet people all the time. So yes, I'm still there.
And going to work is easier than being a staying-at-home parent.
It totally
I might want to go back to work.
right. Angie, is that true? It's yeah.
I have a question. How many, approximately, Rebecca, how many hours would you say you spent under doTERRA the first 1 or 2 years?
Probably like at least 20 hours a week. I did a lot. If that counts, okay, if thinking about it counts, then I probably worked 40 hours in doTERRA because it was always on my mind and in my heart. But I would say probably like 20 or 25. I kept my little calendar printouts for my first year of all my classes and who did one-on-ones with me and stuff. And it's staggering. My first few months, I was flipping through and I'm like, did I seriously do like 3 back-to-back classes on a Saturday? Like literally drive from one city to the next. And it's like, I don't have to do that anymore. But my first year, it was like nose to the ground. Like, this is work. We're getting to work. And so I would say like 25 if I just had to estimate.
Yeah, we just started using the accountability tracker. So that was pretty cool. People were posting it today and a lot of people were right around there, 15, 20 hours, you know, and putting that intention out to work that amount for the week. And, you know, you're working full time and you squeezed it in, right? Like between schools and in the morning and at lunch and right, wherever you could work it in. And
oh, yes. I would take appointments during my lunch hour, or if it was someone that I was working with, I'd be like, okay, you eat, I'll teach, and we'll just have like a quick 40-minute thing. I've done plenty of those. Doing follow-ups with my earbuds in on the way home, driving, just fitting it into my life. But I did it because it was so important to me. Like, this was like so important. And like Benji shared, like he had never seen me be so into something. That's 100% true. I've always grown up with like this thing about myself, like, why isn't there something that I just really love? Like I've always been looking for a passion. Like I wanted to be that kid who was like into that one thing and then got older and did that one thing for a living, but I never found that passion. I was a teacher, I'm an OT now, and I can honestly say that although I do like and appreciate those jobs, they've never like set my heart on fire. And it wasn't until I turned age 35 when I was introduced to doTERRA that I finally found something that I would teach 3 back-to-back classes on a Saturday for, right? And make $100 a month doing it. So I found my passion late in life, but once I found it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going balls out. I'm going to do this. And I think I have a little bit of achiever and like competitiveness in me too. So that also drove me a little bit to like keep moving forward when the times got really hard. Susie and I have had plenty of text times when we're like, oh my gosh, like this is intense, this is crazy. And there have been times where I thought like, is this worth it? But I've never entertained the thought of giving up. Like I never let myself go there because I'm not. This is presidential diamond or bust, right? We're all going to be on the beach together having a drink. And so if I can say anything to you is just don't entertain the thought of ever giving up. You're doing this. You're already invested. You're already at silver, diamond. There's no reason why you would ever scale back. Keep going. Keep loving on people. Keep serving them with the oils. Let that be your vehicle of service for people. And nose to the ground. Just do it.
I love it. Benji, do you have any like word of advice for us?
What kind?
Just from your perspective, what would you say to these people that we have a lot of people who are pretty brand new? I would say I'm looking around here. Some that have like were there at the beginning and they kind of took a break and now they're back, but you know, just having been watched Rebecca go through those stages and different ranks.
I've been taught to only speak from experience. So if anything, like I'll definitely share with what I've seen Rebecca be successful at. I think this business is just like any other business. It's sales, man. So it's simple but not easy. So make the ask, have the conversations. It's when I look at what she's done, in some ways it's freaking hard. It's really hard because of probably like the passive Asian in me. It's afraid, like being afraid to talk to people, or being afraid to make a request, or being afraid to ask. I think what I've seen her do is just push past all of those fears and just ask. Don't be afraid of rejection, and just do it every day. You know, I don't know what the accountability tracker is, but it sounds like a good thing. In my mind, it'd be like, hey, I'm going to talk to 7 people this week and ask them if they want to meet with me.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly that. Yeah.
So then just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. They've heard me say that enough.
And that's what I've seen her do is just, you know, there's all these thoughts like they're going to be mad at me or whatever. But, you know, I told another friend that's in Rebecca's organization recently, like he had some doubts about it. I'm like, yo, man, if you ask a friend to meet with you and ask them to consider this and they get offended, I'm like, what kind of friend are they? You know, it's not on you, you know. It's just, yeah. So that's what I say. Simple but not easy.
For sure. And we're super excited to just see your journey from here on, doing it together and just finding your way with that. And there's plenty of couples who have already kind of navigated that. And so it's amazing that you have those resources, and we're really excited to see just your journey ahead and then to continue to learn from you. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on. And I'm sure, you know, if you guys have more questions or you want your husbands to talk to Benji or whatever, like Benji's in now. So, right, they can, you can go ahead and, right, I'm just saying, yeah, call or message or whatever, like they're available for you. So thank you so much. Your kids have been okay. The house isn't burning down or anything.
Oh, they're all sleeping, girl.
Oh,
It's bedtime. It's Doterra time now.
all right. Okay. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your night. Okay. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. So, doTERRA's the real deal, isn't it? It's pretty crazy. And actually, like, I was thinking about, you know, once I hit Diamond, I was like, you know, I've been talking to my husband a while about like that he could, you know, he could conceivably quit pretty soon, but he just won't because he loves his job. and plus he gets great benefits. And so anyway, I hope that was encouraging to you, and that it's not just me saying that it's real, but I think it's important to just see other people, just other normal people who have just stayed with it. You know, it's been 3 years. We pretty much started at exactly the same time. And yeah, we just learned and grew together. So anyway, it's a little glimpse of your future. Whether or not your spouse joins in, it's just, you know, those ranks and that freedom is there for you. All right, so we're gonna zoom through. I want to not keep you too long. So we have a couple people who are gonna go ahead and share with us about June. And if you have like more questions or you need clarification, then go ahead and just post that on the page. But Sunday, were you the first one? Yeah, Sunday, will you share with us about the promotions for June, including the 10% and the product of the month and Father's Day and all the specials for June?
Okay, sure. So for new enrollees, the promo, you want me to do that one too?
Mm-hmm.
100 PV. Okay, so anyone that you enroll in the month of June at 100 PV, so that could be a customized kit that adds up to 100 PV, or the, you know, family essentials or higher. If they enroll with 100 PV and then the next month they do 100 PV on an LRP, so in July they do another 100 PV, they will get a set of LLVs for free, which I understand is $104 retail value. So they're like getting $100 free in what we know is a great product that they're then going to get to try and hopefully, you know, won't be able to live without. And I was thinking about that, how, you know, it can feel kind of scary to ask someone the second month that they're enrolled to spend another $100+. But I enrolled someone yesterday at 110 PV with a family essentials kit. And I was thinking, you know, in the conversation that I had with her, I heard a number of concerns that she has that can be addressed with some additional things. So I think it's really important when we're enrolling people, when we're talking to them in that initial meeting, to really listen carefully and take notes about the things that when we get together with them for the wellness consult, we will want to suggest to them, so that it's kind of easy for them to see, like, oh, I could easily do I could do an LRP this month. And because I trust this person and she's saying I could use these things and she really listened to me well and heard these concerns, okay, I'm willing to give these things a try. So just help them get to that 100 PV by addressing specific things that they could use. And then the product of the month is the Lavender Touch, which is it's a 15 milliliter roller bottle, I believe. Is that right? 15?
I think it's 10.
A 10 milliliter roller bottle that's pre-diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So it's safe. You can really promote this in terms of being safe for children. In fact, I just bought one. I'm going to give one to a friend who has a 6-month infant because it's good for, sorry about that. It's good for fussiness, and you know, we know lavender is good for calming and helping us sleep, so it can be really good to promote that as terms of, you know, use this with your kids, with your babies who are fussy, put it on your kids at night. But it's also good for skin irritations. So the pre-diluted roller is great to just have it there right away. You can put it on burns and bug bites. Summer months, we're going to be getting bug bites, so just can really encourage people to get a free Lavender Touch, which is $18 retail, so it's like an $18 thing for free. And then the 10% off product is fennel. And so I was reading up on fennel and some of the things that it does. We know that it's good for intestinal issues. So fennel is in the digestion, but using it, you know, you can use it straight, just fennel, for nausea, for gas, and for colic. So it could be good for babies and young kids. And then it's also good for hormonal issues, which I didn't know. So PMS, menstrual issues, it says menopause, premenopause, cramps, spasms. So, and then fluid retention. So a lot of hormonal issues are going to be helped with this, as well as like if someone's trying to manage their cravings, I guess it can be really helpful for blood sugar imbalance and hunger pains. Just taking it can curb hunger. And then for pregnant moms or moms who have babies, it can elevate the breast milk. So if someone's having low milk supply, if you know of anyone, this fennel would be really useful for them. So those are a few things that it does. And then the Father's Day kit is, I think I guess it's a one-time offer for the month of June. And it's a kit that's $38.50. I don't know that much about the oils in it, so maybe Pete wants to chime in because I know he already did the research. But there's a bath bar, an aftershave lotion, and a fortifying blend with a bunch of oils that sound really unique and like unusual oils that I haven't heard of. So I didn't really do the research on that.
It's a limited time offer, just like the Mother's Day kit. So when they're out, they're out. Yeah, and Pete did a Facebook Live on that, so I'll let you refer to that on the customer page about the particular items. But yeah, so what I really want to do is I have a bunch of information about the LLVs that I posted on the core page, and I want to bring those into the customer page, but I would like you guys to do that. Because, you know, if it's like one person like constantly inputting, then they kind of tune out. But if it's someone else, they're like, oh, hey, what's that person talking about, you know? So, and plus there are people that you enrolled that are on there that, you know, won't pay as much attention to me as they will to you. And I noticed that when I see a video of yours, you know, the people who are commenting and liking it, they're totally your people, you know, and not that others aren't paying attention, but it really gives your customers permission to engage, and they feel like, oh, this is a place for me because, hey, there's Angie, hey, there's Pete. So, you know, it's not this person that they've never met, because there are a lot of people I haven't met. But I mean, definitely you guys are engaging more, and I see you more present, so that's great. But for this promotion, I'd love for you guys to hop in there and share more. So we'll be doing some of that. The assignment tomorrow for the push groups are going to be a little bit of like, hey, you know, do a video here and that. But I want to give you guys just full permission to do whatever you want on those pages. Okay? It's not my page. Oh, Pete is excited about that. Now I'm kind of scared. But just do what you feel like you want your customers to know. So, you know, do what you want on that page. What do they need to hear? What did you see in the Empowered Life series that you want them to know? What did you see on the Facebook International page that you want them to know? And just put it on there. You don't need my permission. It's, you know, just go and see and make sure it's not already there, and go ahead and post it. And that's why I also had you guys have, you know, choose a day where you're going to do at least one post or one video or something. Just to kind of get you in that routine of constantly giving that input, okay? So, so I'm giving you permission, within reason, to post, but I totally trust you guys, everyone except me.
I want to tell you really quick, tomorrow I can do LLV, but I was going to do wisdom teeth tomorrow.
Wait, who's talking?
Allison.
Oh, I can't see you, sorry.
Oh.
I had my notes. I'm like, I hear a voice, but I see no mouth moving. Who is that?
So, yeah, if you guys saw my little message on the Facebook Messenger, Dr. Pete took out my daughter's wisdom teeth on last Thursday. And tomorrow she's supposed to go and work. I don't know if you guys know this, at the high school, they offer to the high schoolers to come and train and work at the polling stations. So she's working tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and she's ready. Wow. She's doing fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did all the things that Dr. Pete said, and I had this huge roller bottle made for her with anti-inflammatory, pain, and anything, you know, antibacterial. And she, thankfully, you know, she's used to using her oils and believes it. So she rolled that puppy on constantly all day long. She took On Guard internally, and she went to an hour thing tonight to set up, and she's ready to go tomorrow.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so good to hear.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, really amazing. Okay, so tomorrow you're going to do a video on something you said?
I was going to talk about it tomorrow, about, you know, prepping and care for during and all that, you know, after the teeth are out.
Yeah. And then I want you guys to think, when you're thinking about what you're going to post or what you're going to do a video on, think about what we haven't talked about. Okay, we've done top 10 to death, right? Like, we don't need to talk about headaches and peppermint anymore, right? If people want that information, they can go in the search window and they can put it in. But, you know, we haven't talked much about fennel, and now it's a special, right? So people might be like, why do I want fennel? You know, it's like, I know I need more peppermint because everyone talks about peppermint. So we need to really show people like the value of every single oil and product. So just kind of scan and look. And that's why I've been kind of going into the archives, like deep down, and re-commenting on something that was posted a long time ago, just so that, because we always have new people, right? We're having about like 100 new customers every month now. It's like pretty crazy. And not all of them end up on Facebook, but a lot of them do. And so that means like they need that refresher too. So they need all that basic information. That's why I pulled up the safety stuff. We have an FAQ page. And so, you know, spend some time like in your blocks that you've set aside for your business, you know, plan that in once a week to like kind of think about what you want to post, what you want to present to our team and to your customers. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things. There's so many things about June. I hope you guys saw the post for the classes. We have one tomorrow night at Pete's. We have one on the 13th in Fullerton, 14th in Cypress, 23rd in Cypress. And there's so much going on. There's other, I know there's that event on Friday, right, Allison, at the Cypress Community Center?
Community Center. I'm sorry, the Senior Center. I said Community Center.
The Senior Center. Yeah.
But it's a community resource fair.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So when you have stuff going on, post it on there. And I mean, you just never know like who's in your area who might want to come and connect, because it's really important to connect with people face to face when we can. So Diamond Club qualification period is right now. So Diamond Club ended in May. May 31st was the end. My third and last time, so no more Diamond Club for me, but now it's time to pass the baton. So we have a couple people who are really trying to qualify this month. So I wanted to go over it briefly in case you're interested. So June, anytime in June, you need to do 300 PV enrollments, and you need to hit the rank of silver. They make exceptions for some really strong premiers who are like solid and on the verge of silver, okay? But they do want you to be silver. You need to have 3 people in your area who have 100 PV LRP, so within your area is within 50 miles of your home. And then you need to have another outside area. They want to see that you have somewhere to travel to, right? And the first Diamond Club I did, I qualified with an area in Texas, and I didn't even go there during Diamond Club, but I still qualified with them. So there were like 3 people, I think they were Pete's people, and they're not even like doing the business, and they're not even like ordering anymore. They're like totally kind of not there. But I used them because they did LRP for that month of qualification, and so I qualified with that. And then later I went to Texas, but I didn't go that first time. So those are the basic qualifications. If you meet those, then you apply. And I'm telling you guys, like before the first time I did Diamond Club, I really like almost didn't do it. I actually told them no like 3 times, and they kept calling me. It was really weird. The account managers kept calling me, and they kept saying, we think you should do it. You know, I only had 2 enrollments that month, and I needed 3. And I said, I only have 2. And they said, well, you have 2 days. Can you do 1 more? So I was like, why are they pushing me so much, you know? And I barely did it by the skin of my teeth. And I think I enrolled one of Waleen's family members, you know, like I was at her parents' house and we're like together, and I wasn't going to do it, but I think it was literally like the last day, and they're like, come on, you can do it 1 more. So, and she like got excited, and I'm like, okay, then let's just do it. So I did it, you know, and I won grand prize that time. Like, it's like totally crazy that I barely qualified, and look what happened. So I want you to really like kind of think big. And if it's not this season, then do it in the spring or do it next fall, but have it on your radar, because over 70% of diamonds have done Diamond Club at least once. It's just kind of one thing that most of them have in common. So it's just an amazing program, because basically doTERRA is investing thousands of dollars in you every single month for 4 months. And so your business is going to like take off. I rank advanced every time I did Diamond Club. And so it's an amazing experience. So anyway, that's this month qualification. And then July is preparation, and it starts in August. So we will be having 2 people doing Diamond Club, at least, maybe 3. So you can invite them to your classes if this isn't the season for you. Okay, questions about that? Okay. Allison, do you talk to us about the your 2 items?
Yes. Okay, so I need your guys' brain power and thoughts on the format of Top 10 Camp now that we don't have Tiny Torch to post into events. The only way on Facebook to have scheduled posts is to use a group. At least that's the only thing I've been able to find that way. So that's what I did this time. I just went in and I was able to just sit down in like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes and just preload every single post for Top 10 Camp. And that's no big deal. So, but then it came to, okay, it was time for Membership Plus. And I was like, oh my goodness, do we need to have another group or would it be easier? So what we tried this time is then I just went back into the Top 10 group and loaded Membership Plus because I thought, well, at least that way we don't have to contact everyone and get everybody moved over to a new group. There is a little bit of confusion. I've only seen a couple posts where people are like, did I miss them? Where are they? And I'm like, we're like, no, they're right there. They're in the same group. Okay, so if we do it that way, that's totally fine. I could go up and change the picture if you think that would help. But what comes into mind is the following month. So now we're running Membership Plus, but we need to have a group available for June Top 10 Camp.
Yeah.
So do we want to have 2 groups that were flip-flopping? Do we want to say, okay, Membership Plus ends on the 12th, we wipe the group, but Top 10 is starting on the 17th, right? June 17th?
24th.
24th. Okay, I keep getting those dates mixed up. I don't know why. I don't know. What are your thoughts? And did any of that make sense?
Does everyone know what Membership Plus is? They're like, what's Membership Plus? Okay, you know, everyone knows what Top 10 Camp is, right? So usually what happens is at the end of Top 10 Camp, we say, hey, anyone who's interested in learning more, like more details about recipes and just kind of get more into it. Top 10 Camp is pretty like kind of surface and also wants to learn maybe a little about the business, more about LRP, doing classes, you know, that kind of thing. It's just like another step to go kind of deeper. And usually like a handful, maybe 5 or 10 decide they would like to do that. So we would have a separate event for Membership Plus. But this time we just threw it into the Top 10 Camp so that people didn't have to join another group. But because the thing says Top 10 Camp at the top, it was confusing. I was even confused. I forgot what we decided. So I think one thing would be, yeah, to change the picture or at least, or even just do half and half and say, you know, it was Top 10 Camp.
That's what I was thinking just now.
Plus is going on now and just put the Membership Plus dates and the Top 10 Camp dates. But the question is like what to do for June, the June Top 10 Camp. So I know some groups, they just go and they just delete everyone who did the previous one. And then they let the new people get added, but people kind of already want to add people to the next one. So, but Membership Plus is going on. So,
yeah,
I mean,
so
give
it's
us some
weird.
feedback. What do you guys think would be the best?
Is there a way, so when you start a new Top 10 Camp, like let's call them graduates, when they're graduates, right? Mm-hmm. Then they go into this Membership Plus, right? And that lasts forever?
No, it lasts for like 6 days or something.
Oh, 6 days only.
Short. But yeah, that's the problem because the events have to have an ending time. So it's like 10 days, 6 days. Yeah, groups can stay forever. And it's not everyone goes. It's just people who want to go deeper. So it's probably usually like half of the people do that. I feel like, I mean, tell us what you think, but I feel like it needs to be separate. I feel like it's too confusing. We need to have a group, and the people who actually want that extra information, I feel like they'll take the extra step to find it and to go into it. Sure. And then the other people who are kind of like, what, I thought this was Top 10 Camp, and they're still trying to like find Top 10 Camp stuff, and there's this Membership Plus stuff, and they don't know what it is.
I
That's
think if
fine.
you make it separate, I think it's kind of going towards the idea that of why we revamped Top 10 to begin with, which was to make it simpler for the customers,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I think we need to keep that at the forefront because, you know, when we were working on the Top 10 original format and when we reformatted it, there's a lot of things. And even when I went through Top 10 Camp, some of the stuff was so confusing and there was a lot. So I think if you keep it separate and just like Susie said, like write something, or even if they have to take that little extra step, they will. But I think there has to be some kind of separation just to keep the simplicity there. Because if you don't, I think it gets convoluted and it's just more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Is it, it's not too hard to just remove people, right, Allison? Like at the end of Top 10 Camp, you know, we usually
don't know,
give
we
like
haven't-
about 5 more days and then just go in and just take everyone out,
It shouldn't be.
right?
We haven't done it yet. I don't know.
So I'm thinking, has it been 6 days for Membership Plus yet or no?
I think it's actually 7 days of posts, and no, it just started. The official post actually just started today.
Okay, so why don't we do this? So for now, if you could just go in and put something at the top so they know Membership Plus is in progress, maybe just say Membership Plus in progress until whatever here on this page, on this group. And then starting next month, we do them separate.
Okay.
And when Membership Plus is over, just go and delete all the people that were in there for Top 10 Camp. And so when will it end? On June 7th? Okay, so after
On
June 7th.
Sunday.
After Sunday, you guys can start adding
No,
your
not
new
this-
people to the next Top 10 Camp, right? It's going to be the same page, is it?
I think so. Unless, why don't we do this? Why don't we just change this one? Is it easy to change the names on groups?
Yeah, it's really easy.
Okay, then why don't I just change this one permanently to Membership Plus, and then I'll start a fresh one for Top 10 Camp so people can start adding to that now.
Okay, that's a good idea. But I'm just wondering, like, if we keep the same one each month, then the order is like all weird, right? The order of the posts?
What do you,
Yeah, you have to reset them to go again, right? You can't leave the same post. You have to delete all the posts and all the people, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
you have to delete everything.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense. Okay. So is that clear? You guys look a little bit dazed. Like,
Totally clear. And then we'll have to talk logistics for July and for the beginning of August when we figure out our dates and stuff, because I am going to be off the grid, you guys, from July 9th till August 5th. We're going to Europe. So I will be off the grid. The first half is with our Girl Scout troop, and then they're flying home, and hubby's flying out to meet us. And so Shelby and I are staying, and he'll meet us there, and then we don't come home till the 5th. So, yeah. So might need a little help with running those things. And I was even thinking, well, we'll have to go there because I don't want it to be complicated if I schedule the posts. Sometimes Susie and I were trying to play around with it to see what we had access to. I made her an administrator, but I don't know, were you able to see that there were scheduled posts?
No.
Yeah, so that's not good either. So
Yeah.
we may need a little extra support.
Yeah. Okay, we can do that. So I think all you need to know, if you're confused, is there's going to be a separate Top 10 Camp group and a separate Membership Plus group. And right now it's a little bit confusing, but in June it'll be good. Okay.
Crystal clear.
June 24th will be Top 10 Camp. And then the new thing we're adding in, it's old, but it's new, is S6. And that starts June 10th. Okay. So Angie?
Does everyone know what Membership Plus is except for me?
Yeah, we just went over it. Okay, so Membership Plus comes after Top 10 Camp, and it's an optional thing that people can decide to do. And it just kind of goes into more detail, more like recipes and blends and talking a little bit about classes.
But that's not, is that accessible to the people that are in that the forum?
No, forum separate. It's only, we just introduce it to the people who are in the 10-day Top 10 Camp event.
And we're not going to post that onto the forum for those people that.
No.
Okay.
No, separate. So, I mean, you could add them to it. If there's someone in the forum and you think they would like to do Membership Plus, you could add them to that. It's fine. Because Membership Plus is like, we just put everything on in one day. It doesn't come little by little. It just all gets posted, and it's not as much as Top 10 Camp. They can just peruse it as they want. There's like details on LRP and like how do you redeem points and just like a lot more information. For some people, it's like too much. So it's just if they want to go deeper.
Does it also go into the compensation plan or how to earn commissions?
A little bit. Little bit. So, and if they want more, then, maybe we can, I don't know if there's a post on like join us on a business Zoom or anything, but maybe we should add that in there. We could just do it manually. That would be a logical next step. The next 2 business Zooms, Saturday at 9 and on the 20th at 7 p.m. Okay, those have been going really well. We had 9 people on the first one and 12 on the second one. And people are starting to really entertain that idea of making some income. And like people are like, in the beginning, they tell me their goals. Oh, I want to pay for my LRP. And by the end, they're like, oh, maybe I could make 1,000. 2,000, like why not? So it's really just kind of opening people's minds up. I have another Skill Up group starting on June 17th. That's just going to run for 1 month. So right now we have 2 Skill Up groups. They merged into one fabulous group now. And so I'm starting a brand new one. So if you have someone who's interested in the business, all it's going to be pretty low key, but it's going to be still high commitment. So every day they come, they do one assignment. It's just learning about like, how do you do a one-on-one? How do you talk about the LLVs? How do you enroll someone online? It's like the skills that you need to do the business. So we'll do one thing a day. And then at the end of that month, then that'll be it. It'll just be done and they'll be all skilled up and ready to come back to you guys so that you can continue to work with them. It's also kind of, when that's over, then that 60-day challenge is starting. There's so much stuff going on, right? So it's a 60-day challenge is that presidential diamond thing that 40 people put together. Did you guys see that? So it's like, it's a free program and there's great prizes. There's like $1,000 to convention. There's $1,000 worth of product. There's going to be cash prizes. Like you get mentor time with Presidential Diamonds. You get mentor time with Emily Wright. It's like crazy and it's free. So there's really no reason why you wouldn't sign up because you're doing the business anyway. There's a couple requirements, but they're super simple for everybody. So if you're in the Skill Up group, you're actually going to sign up tomorrow. So you don't have to worry. That's one of your assignments. Just sign up and just do it because you're doing the work anyway. So when that's over, that'll be July and August. That really is just to kind of help during the summer. It can get a little bit slow. So they're really just trying to breathe some momentum into the summer. Okay, that's a brand new program. Super fun. Okay. All right, then the other thing that was a little bit confusing that we want to clear up, Yolanda's going to talk about the Top 10 Camp email program that we have. So this is for people who are not on Facebook or Top 10 Camp event is like too fast for them and you want to just go through the information with them little by little. Okay, so we created this email Top 10 Camp. Okay, so it's Top 10 Camp email version is what we've been calling it. So Yolanda will let you know kind of how that works and how you can get someone plugged into that.
Okay, so really quick, Top 10 Camp I had down as the 3rd Sunday of every month, so it's not the 17th then.
Just for June, because we're doing S6, we made S6 on the 2nd week and Top 10 Camp on the 4th. But generally speaking, it should be on the 3rd week when we don't have S6.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we do
Okay.
need to talk about S6 a little bit more. That's, yeah, but finish this first.
Okay. Okay. So, top 10 camp email. Basically, I took all the days of posts and put them onto separate emails. So there's 10 emails altogether instead of 10 days. It's still going to be 10 days, but over a span. So it's, the first day is peppermint, I think, and On Guard. So they will get that first email on the first day of Top 10 Camp, and they can go through it however they want. There'll be videos they can click on. There'll be, I think, a challenge once in a while that they can do, and it says to refer back to the person that invited them and let them know what they thought about it. So just, staying connected with them is really good here. So they'll be getting it every 3 days. So instead of 10-day long camp, it's going to be over like 28 days, I think, or something like that. And it's longer, and it's longer to keep track of everything, but it's easy. Once you give me the email addresses, I just put them in at the very beginning, and it sends them for me every day. I don't even look at them right now. They're just going for me now. So that's why it's important to get the emails at the very beginning, if possible. We can always do them. We can add people in later, but they'll just miss the first couple, and you can just maybe forward those to them.
Yeah, so it's been great. So I really recommend that you guys get on that list for the next one so that you get sent all of those emails, because then like what I did is like I enrolled someone on the 3rd day. So we already missed the other days, but I had the emails. So as soon as they enrolled, I sent them the first one. And I said, hey, here's some information on a couple of those oils that you bought. And they really appreciated it. It was like even before they, got their oils. And then I waited a few days and I sent the next one, so then I have all of them. You guys can just make a little folder in your emails and put them all together and just have it available. So you can send it, you can do Top 10 Camp with them, or you can just send an individual one. Let's say you know that they really need to know how to use frankincense, then you just send them the frankincense email. So it'll be a great resource for you if you just sign up so you can receive all of those emails. Okay.
I am going to make a couple of fixes on them though, because a couple of them had typos or whatever. So that first round might not be the best to save. The second round might be the better one. So send me your email address and I'll put you on for that one.
Yeah. Okay, great. So if you have someone that would be a good candidate for this, then go ahead and send their email to Yolanda and she'll get them on for the next one. Okay. Questions about Top 10 Camp email version? Okay, I know it's a lot of information, but we're trying to make things simpler for you. It seems kind of confusing, but we're trying to include everyone, and we're trying to make things create systems and automatize things for you. So you'll get it as we get into a groove. Okay, let's cover S6 really quick because I know there's a lot of new people who have never done it. So S6 is for people who are not customers yet. Okay, Top 10 Camp, Membership Plus, our customer page, that's all for customers. S6 is for people who are not enrolled yet. So who's a perfect candidate for S6? Someone who's come to a class but wasn't ready and they're like, oh, I have to think about it, and they left. Someone who's like, oh, I need to really try it before I buy it. That would be another great candidate. Someone who you just know that if they had 6 days of living the doTERRA lifestyle and they saw the community and the support and the education, that information we have in S6, and that's what's going to really sell them, then they're a perfect candidate. Invite them to that. So the way that it works is it's going to start June 10th. Everything starts on Sundays, and it's going to go for 6 days. It's called S6 because it's 6 samples over 6 days. And I was trying to encourage people to find 6 people to invite to it. So on the core page is a little handout. It has the 6 samples we're going to do. And so you need to get those samples, send them to people or get it in their hands and make sure they know to come. The event's already been created. So come on the 10th and start with the Deep Blue Rub. We're going to start right away. Just be really clear about the instructions, because sometimes people get the samples and they just use them all. And then they can't follow with us during the event. So just tell them, save it, look at the paper, just get your Deep Blue ready for the 10th, and we're going to start. And we just use the sample, we talk about it, people share their experiences, they ask questions, we give additional information. It's really a rich time. And so at the end of the 6 days, one of us is going to go live, and I'm waiting for someone to volunteer or I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to volunteer somebody to do a close at the end. Yeah, so Pete is going to do it because he just ducked out. Okay, so it's like, you know, in class when the kids are like looking down, you pick that one. Okay, so at the end you do a close, like really quick, 15, 20 minutes. Just talk about just the top 10. We even have a special like S6 kit that they can enroll with. If they really liked those 6 samples they got, they can get those 6 things. It'll have that $35, but it's still a kit already prepared. And we'll talk about the other top 3 kits, and then we'll provide an incentive for them to enroll that night. Okay, so if you enroll by like, I think 10 or 11, then you'll get this extra custom sleep roller or this energy roller or whatever, a wild orange or something like that. And then they'll come back to you, the person who invited them, and, you know, you'll have them fill out the form, and if they get it to whoever's, you know, doing the close, and we see, like, sometimes we'll say the top 3 people, the first 3 people who send their enrollment form before 10, those are the 3 people who are going to win this thing, you know, something like that. We'll just provide an incentive for them to enroll right away. Because I think we all know by now that when people leave, they get distracted. You know, they might be super interested, but they just get distracted. And so it's really important to just give them that opportunity while they're really focused and they know that they want it. Let's just finish it right now. Go get your card right now. Tell us, you know, what you want, and let's just get that done. And here's a little extra thing you'll get if you just do it tonight.
Susie?
Okay? Yeah.
Questions on that? What oils are you doing for this
We're
one? Is
doing
it the
peppermint, melaleuca, and lavender.
great
It's the
oils.
single oils.
Okay,
Yeah.
single oils.
So
And
the paper is posted on the core page.
okay. And also, like you said, that you were making up a kit for these people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know already how many PV are going to be on that or no?
Yeah. Do you remember, Yolanda? I think it's something like 120 or 30 or something. So it's more than 100. You know, the bottle of the Deep Blue Rub, and then the 3 oils, and then the toothpaste, and what's the third one?
Okay, cool.
Shampoo, and the shampoo and conditioner. Yeah, it's definitely over 100.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people just like that. Like, they're like, they don't understand the top 10. They want those 6 samples. Okay. So questions about S6? Are you guys all clear on that? You know where to get your samples. You can get them all in your back office with the exception of the trios. You can either make little drams, or I have a bunch of extras of those trios. So if you want that, you can get it from me. Okay, just get those in people's hands, and then that little sheet that explains what to do. All right, there's lots of stuff going on. You can keep asking questions on the page if needed. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, convention and GoPro. There's the last 2 things really quick. So convention is sold out, right? Campus tours are sold out, gala sold out, but they created this new kind of gala ticket where you can go after dinner. Can't remember how much it was. Pete, do you remember? It's like 25 or something? 20? 20, okay. So it's $20, 25? Okay, he's chewing. All right, it's $25, and regular gala is $75 with the gourmet 4-course meal and everything. So you can, if you just want to come for the celebration afterwards, you can get a ticket like that. But I haven't heard how you can get that yet, but that will be available. Campus tour tickets, I have a handful left. I'm kind of waiting on some people to see if they're going to need it because they're thinking about their tickets still. And so if those are still available, I'll let you know. It doesn't really matter what time your ticket is, okay? You just show up, and sometimes they don't even check the tickets, honestly. You just get in line, and if there's usually extra space on the bus, and you can just go on the bus. So if your ticket says 3 o'clock, it's okay. Go with the 1 o'clock. I think we have a large group going at 1 and at 11. So if you have a 3 o'clock ticket and you'll be there by 1, just go with the 1 o'clock people. Okay, it's totally fine. And I don't have any more tickets that are like totally open, but people are going to be selling their tickets. Probably, you know, they will through the summer as things come up and they can't make it. And so I will if you really, I mean, don't let that stop you because we're sold out, right? Continue to invite people. And if you get people who want to go, I promise you, we can find tickets. There's so many pages, convention pages that pop up, but they will have to pay that $25 transfer fee. So it'll be $169 plus $25. Okay, so it's still better, of course, to get it when you go to convention, and definitely better to get it in March. But there's still a way. Okay, so just be inviting people still. And what did I say? Oh, and GoPro. So GoPro tickets, we're paying for them ahead of time in packs. And so it'd be really helpful if you know you want to go, if you could at least, maybe start making payments or something, because like I said, we're paying for them ahead of time in packs. So, that's one of the top few items, right? Events, convention for sure. If you have to choose between GoPro and convention, go to convention, okay? But if you're willing to invest in convention and GoPro, and then a summit, those are like kind of the top ones. When you get to silver, then Leadership Club is another one. Okay, questions about convention, GoPro? Anything? You guys are good? Okay. Alrighty, so how about just general questions about anything else for June or anything that you need help with? I know there's a lot going on. We'll try to just be really clear as the month goes and keep you informed of things. Just stay really close to that LE Core page. And whenever you go on that page, just refresh the screen, because when things change or new things get added, it doesn't really show unless you refresh the screen. So I know we've had to change some dates and stuff, so make sure you have the most up-to-date information. Okay.
Susie, is Leadership Club the same thing as Diamond Club?
No, Leadership Club is after Next Level Leap. Okay, so the first training that you do is Ready, Set, Grow, which is on Missy's page, right? You go through all the modules, you get your certificate, then you do Next Level Leap, which the start date is on the core page. I can't remember exactly what it is now. It's like pretty soon. And then after that, then you go to Leadership Club, and you have to be Premier Rank. Okay. Yeah, so we have so many great programs right now. All right, is your mind like totally on overload now? All right, anything else, you guys?
Kathy asked in the chat the date on GoPro.
GoPro is April 25 to 27. Okay, it's a Thursday to Saturday. So get that down. I'm telling you that, I mean, you guys have to go and listen to Vicky's video about GoPro, because that changed everything for her. And even like Pete too. The people who went, I'm trying to think if anyone else is on here that went.
Only made a big difference for me because it was GoPro for women. You got that hormone in yourself.
But look what happened when you came back, right? You just like became a different person. So, but it's like, and it's not like one event.